So what was the question again? Oh, why is it called the traffic jam? Well, you know, the reason is, it's because I have two really cool cars. Seriously cool cars. And I love drifting, racing, because I am fast and slick. And plus, I like to create a bit of traffic jam myself with a whole lot of great music. Bulunaka, my name is Real, your host and DJ, right here on the Today FM Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 p.m. to 7. Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Tonight, newly appointed Agriculture Minister Inieseru Ratu lays down the challenge for staff. Farmers in the West suffer the consequences of dry spell. And MPs to be shown the ropes on how Parliament works. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. The lack of rain has affected agriculture and livestock in the West. Principal Agriculture Officer West Vinesh Kumar says there is very little pasture left for livestock. Rashika Kumar has the details.
The dry spell has hit the hardest in agriculture-dependent Tavua, Reki and Ba.
For the Ba province, if you look at the quality and the quantity, we have lost roughly about 60% in terms of quality and quantity. And areas like Singatoka, we have certain places where they are relying on shallow wells, as well as on, we would say, rainfed. We have lost about 10 to 15%, and in Ratu, about 20% we have lost vegetables.
High price of vegetables also indicates that farmers aren't able to meet demand. Principal Agriculture Officer West Vinesh Kumar adds that milk is also declining. Normally, a cow produces 4.5 liters of milk a day. This has been cut in half to 2.5 liters on many farms.
Animals are weak, so at times they are under stress, so they have to travel long distance to the pasture, to the water site, as well as in certain instances we have lost few animals because of worm problems. Because
farmers are being advised to plant high-value crops, sell off unproductive animals, not to stress animals, and arrange drinking water for livestock. Rashika Kumar, FBC News.
Periods of rain around the country today was a welcome sign after the prolonged dry spell that has gripped the West. However, the Nadi Weather Office says the brief showers will only last 24 hours. We now join our West reporter Christopher Chan to give us an update. Chris.
More rainfall is needed to bring relief to the agriculture sector. These are some shots of rain in Nadi today. The Weather Office says the current condition is not a prolonged drought, but a prolonged dry spell. But this is debatable given the situation on the ground. The strongest drought to hit Fiji occurred in 1997 and 1998 with an estimated economic impact of $130 million. Since then, Fiji has experienced 3 droughts in 2002 and 2003, which was weak to moderate, 2006-2007 very weak, and in 2009-2010, which was weak to moderate. The Fiji Sugarcane Growers Council CEO Sundaresh Chetty says they can only hope more rain is forecast for the West to bring much needed relief for sugarcane farmers. Chetty says this is the only way to ensure that next season's crop is unaffected. For the time being, the Weather Office says brief showers will continue until tomorrow.
Thanks for that update, Christopher. Minister for Agriculture, Rural and Maritime Development and National Disaster Management, Colonel Inieseru Ratu, has rallied his staff to work with passion and diligence. A welcoming ceremony for the minister this morning was more of a wake-up call for staff at the headquarters in Raiwanga, Suva. Watisoni Raikandroka has more.
There's work to be done, a lot of work. And I will demand the best out of everybody in this ministry. My passion has to be your passion.
He's not new to the job, but now Colonel Inieseru Ratu has the mandate of the people. The minister and his assistant, Commander Tsoeli Dawaki, were hosted by 200 staff from the Central and Western Division.
I always argue that rural Fiji has a lot, and particularly the resource-based sector, has a lot to contribute for the growth and development of Fiji.
The prolonged dry spell and mitigating the effects on farms is an urgent priority for the minister.
Particularly how it affects root crops, vegetables as well, and most importantly livestock, let alone the continuous supply of water to the communities that are in need. We are indeed thankful to the agencies involved and of course the assistance given to us as well.
Colonel Inia Seriratu hopes to inspire his staff to reach for greater heights in service delivery and development in the lives of people at the grassroots level. Watisoni Rekanroka, FBC News.
The mother of the 14-year-old girl who was allegedly murdered in Viryanaitasiri last week says the family is in shock. Ashna Devi was found dead in a vacant house in Waimalika settlement over the weekend. Savara Tambua has the story.
Ashna's body was found in this house after she had been missing for 2 days. Her mother Urmilawati told FBC News that the family knew about the relationship between the victim and her alleged attacker.
Since my daughter has left, I don't know anything. I still have no idea where she has gone to. We were all asleep at night. She got up and left. None of us were aware.
Ashna was allegedly murdered by a 35-year-old man who was found lying next to her after he attempted to harm himself. Wati adds the family is trying to come to terms with the fact that Ashna is gone.
She had a good relationship with us, but had an affair with that man. This has been happening for a long time. We tried to make her understand. We tried a lot.
Police spokesperson Ananai Soro says the post-mortem has been completed.
Yes, we can confirm that the post-mortem examination has been conducted today, and our investigators have received the results. We can confirm that the victim died of injuries sustained. However, we will not be able to divulge any other information as the investigation is currently ongoing.
Funeral arrangements are still being finalized for Ashna. The 35-year-old suspect remains in intensive care at the CWM hospital. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
Newly elected Minister of Fisheries and Forests Osena Ngamu has big reforms planned. He spoke to FBC News in Nasesevia Nadi yesterday while celebrating his win in the election. Akusita Tale has the story.
Being the first from his village to be a government minister, the former Fiji Pine Trust chief executive promises to live up to the expectations of his people. Osena Ngamu says he will use his expertise from the pine industry to improve services. Ngamu says having worked with people at the grassroots, he is well aware of what the needs are and where resources should be channeled. The Minister for Fisheries and Forest has also called on major stakeholders to work together to deliver the best for Fijians. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
The 49 newly elected members of Parliament will be shown the ropes tomorrow in a parliamentary induction program. The half-day training will focus on what to expect from the first session of Parliament, including protocol, election of the Speaker, election of the Deputy Speaker, election of the Leader of Opposition and the approval of the standing orders. The elected representatives will also be briefed on MPs' rights and responsibilities, the role of government and the opposition. The induction program will be presided over by the Secretary-General of Parliament, Viniana Namosimalua. Parliament is scheduled to sit next Monday. After the break, Momi Bay project to kick off early next year.
Ya vino pali pronto kwa chuma ni mwezi kwa kwa bula FM namba ndio ni siri na ngona ni ndende manda ke central rental support ke ndio suma kwa terminichi me va na koloko. Ni sabula.
Oya wa watisoni dalai.
Bunga yung musidon.
Nama kikirau bena tolu kina bitu. Ena via kabi, moli chikina porombuka.
Goria na lali ne kabi. Bula FM, number 2 ena sere.
My name is Luca. I live on the second floor.
Gold FM, Molly the Classic Hits. I hope you're having fun so far. You're listening to The Ride, and I'm Kara, taking you through your afternoon. Stay with me to listen to more awesome classics right here on The Ride. Bulubinaka, for awesome sounds in the afternoon. Wonderful, wonderful classics. Join me on The Ride every weekday right here on Gold FM, Molly the Classic Hits from 2 to 7.
Just don't ask me what it was. I think it's 'cause.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Fijian peacekeepers serving in the Golan Heights are now on the Israeli side of the border with Syria, along with all other United Nations personnel. Chief of Staff Land Force Lieutenant Colonel Sitiven Ngilio says some Fijians are still at the border but out of harm's way. Ngilio says the 45 men who were released by the Al-Nusra Front are still undergoing counselling and assessment by the UN. None of them have been asked to return home.
There is only one position, which is on the Syrian side, which is occupied by our Fijian troops, which is a company strength, about 100 personnel. That is just right next to the fence, and it's not much into the Syrian side, just close to the technical fence, but it's on the Syrian side. That is our only footprint at the moment on the Syrian side.
Ngilio says the RFMF, along with other countries who are part of the UNDOF mission at the Golan Heights, now await word on whether they will continue with the mission. World Heart Day is being marked today with the theme Heart Healthy Environment. According to the World Health Organization, the places where we live, work and play should not increase our risk of cardiovascular disease. WHO Pacific representative Dr. Sherian Vagi says people often cannot make heart-healthy choices due to environmental factors such as the availability of healthy food or smoke-free zones.
The environment that we live in should be heart healthy. How do we make it heart healthy? For example, it should have facilities for healthy diet. It should be a smoke-free environment. There should be facilities for physical activity. And there should be facilities for good management of heart disease. So that means it is not just the way we live, it is also the environment in which we live affects our life.
About 80% of people in the South Pacific die from heart disease. High salt intake, smoking, high-fat diet, sugar and physical inactivity are the contributing factors. Joyce Aviation has bought a new aircraft worth an estimated $250,000 for its Pacific Flying School. The Beechcraft Duchess BE-76 is a new addition to its fleet, and it will give flying students a chance to learn on more sophisticated planes. Christopher Chand reports.
The new aircraft arrived earlier this month. Upcoming pilots can now get trained on this new plane, which has a retractable undercarriage.
We felt it was necessary to do something like this to try and give local students the opportunities that they otherwise really only had in Australia and New Zealand and overseas. Because I believe strongly that primacy in learning is very important, and to learn on a retractable undercarriage for not only the basic multi-engine retractable training but also for IFR training is very important.
Until now, students learned to fly planes which had fixed wheels. The new Duchess will train them to manually bring down aircraft wheels when landing.
Before we used to have the Britain Norman Islander. That didn't have the undercarriage being able to retract it and extend it. So they didn't have that option of training. It's one of the things to be mindful of to come and land the aircraft, to get your gears down. Because if you don't, then you'll end up doing a belly landing or something.
On average, about 50 regional and local students enroll at the school. While there is always huge demand, it's expensive to get into the flying school.
Depending on the student commitment, availability of aircraft, you take about 18 months to complete the training, yes. But some take 2 years, 3 years, that's because of funding.
The Duchess is primarily for the flying school, but the 4-seater aircraft can also be used for charter flights. Christopher Chan, FBC News.
Monday Night Sports Now. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening. Welcome back to a new week of FBC Sports. Coming up, Ben Ryan says players in the Fiji Oceania Sevens team still have a chance to make the Dubai 7 squad, and Samuel Ndrundru to stay with Nadi football. Details after the break.
छू 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 हे हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची, इट्स हॉट।
Ni sa bulu binaga na turang na kini maramani bulu binaga na doro bau kini sone lewa. Ni sa bulu binaga ngone en do talem no no ni wawai katalau en mataka en nai.
En vendelana mai nei tasiri.
No bulu malaka bo ni melote nai sorta boa.
En lomo ni bonua mai sanganga.
Eu bulu re ko Samuel Samli. Na no tanga ni wawai katalau en radio Fijuan nandomo vitina vonga ni venu. Mai no no kini diwa en bi mataka moni tikina pagruka. Ni kai namaka.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. It is not the end of the road for players in the Fiji side competing at the Oceania Sevens in Australia this weekend. Dropped from the initial squad to the Gold Coast Sevens, national coach Ben Ryan says the 12 players have a fighting chance for the Dubai Sevens in December. Tsalen Daudakadaka reports.
Most of the teams that will compete in this weekend's Oceania Sevens will be using the competition as a dress rehearsal for the Gold Coast Sevens next week. But for the Fiji squad, Vodafone Fiji Sevens coach Ben Ryan has set his sights a little further than that.
You know, they've missed out on Gold Coast selection, and they hopefully will prove me wrong at the weekend and have some really standout performances. I'm pretty convinced, having seen how they're going in training, that they'll play well, and 1 or 2 players at least will really push hard in my head for consideration for Dubai. So, no, it's good to have competition.
Led by Naitasiri veteran Nasuni Rocco, the squad features several big guns like Vatamo Rabobo and speedster Jerry Tuwai. Ryan believes the squad can be just as competitive as any other team in the IRB Sevens World Series.
Looking at the fitness test results today, the Gold Coast team are probably about 10% fitter than the Oceania team, and that's probably reminded them that on my priority list, fitness is high, and those boys that have missed out probably need to attend a little bit more to that. But I'm looking forward to, hopefully, we get to play against the full-strength Samoan, New Zealand and Australian sides that are in Noosa this weekend.
Meanwhile, Coca-Cola Amatil Fiji today became the official beverage and refreshment provider for the Fiji Rugby Union for the next 5 years.
For us, sports sponsorship is more than just exposure to product. It really is about inspiration and supporting of the country and the value that sports brings to the country. So being involved in Fiji and being involved in rugby in Fiji is exactly where we want to be. So it's a very exciting new partnership for us.
The Oceania Sevens carries a lot of weight for the national squad that will be taking to the field. For the players, it's about getting back into Ryan's main squad for later in the series. Tsalendo Dakadak, FBC Sports.
The Samurai team from Fiji has finished in 3rd place at the Safaricom Sevens tournament in Kenya. The team returns home this week. The Nadi football side has been boosted by star striker Samuel Ndrundru's stance to remain with the team. As the side prepares for the Courts Inter-District Championships, the team is rearing to go one better than last season, where it lost in the final to Mba. The Jet Setters last won the IDC in 2002 and has been training hard to end its winless drought. Indra Singh has with more.
These pictures tell the story as top Nadi marksman Samuel Ndrundru has decided to stick with the side, delighting the Jet Setters officials who have been fighting hard to retain their players.
If they had any intention of moving, they would have moved by now. But they are with us now, as you can see.
The current transfer window has been a problem for Nadi, whose players have been targets for other teams.
The biggest challenge that we are facing is the transfer window closes on the 30th of September, and all the districts are after our players.
With the Courts IDC starting on Saturday and Nadi taking on Tailevu Netasiri at home, the team knows the onus is on its players to get off to a winning start.
Just like any other district, we are training hard. We trying to reach our target. Of course, like all the other districts, we also want to win the IDC.
Nadi came close last year to lifting the crown but was beaten by Ba in the final. With 12 years of no IDC title in the bag, Junju along with his teammates will have to fly high from the opening whistle. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Fiji Football Association says district teams should not try to hinder the movement of players wanting to play for other teams. The current player transfer window closes tomorrow and there has been a number of players wanting to change teams.
There are a few players who have expressed their interest in going out from one district to another. That is being considered. We are urging on the district associations not to hold on to any of the requests. They should respond either they are in the position to give transfers or they are in a position not to give transfer. The only reason they will not be able to give transfers if there is a player contract, where a player has a valid contract with the association which requires to be fulfilled before they can be released. But if there is a dispute, then they must immediately register the dispute.
The next transfer window will open next year. More participants are signing up for the upcoming Suva Marathon, which takes place this Saturday. And for the betterment of the competition, organizers are keen to get more locals to participate. Organizers are aiming to have 300 participants take part in the marathon this Saturday. The New Zealand All Blacks have won the Rugby Championship with a test to spare in sealing their dominance with a bonus point 34-13 victory over Argentina. All Black Julian Sevilla again proved he is one of the deadliest backs in the world. The All Blacks meet South Africa on Sunday. That was your sports for tonight. It's back to Jackie now with business.
The Fiji National Provident Fund plans to start construction on the previously troubled Momi Bay project early next year. The fund has signed a 25-year deal with internationally renowned resort brand Marriott Hotels to manage the resort after completion. In its 2014 annual report, the FNPF says final negotiations are being undertaken with preferred developers. This announcement is actually a year late. FNPF CEO Aisake Taito previously said the fund had plans to start construction in the first quarter of 2014. The project was halted back in 2009 when previous developers Matapo Limited went into financial turmoil. A 4-day trade show for the West has been organized by the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation and Dual Services Fiji. A memorandum of understanding was signed between the two companies this morning. FBC Dual Western Expo 2014 hopes to bring top-notch entertainment to the West.
Not only because we are going to be able to go back to the West and give something back to our listeners and viewers in the West in terms of an expo, but really the West and people outside of Suva are generally ignored. And we've always had our intention is to always include all of Fiji.
The expo will be held from the 5th to the 8th of November. Weather time with Trish.
Thank you, Jackie. Now let's take a look at today's conditions. Most places had rainfall today. Finally, for the burning west, cooling down now with scattered showers all throughout the day for Nadi, Lautoka and Ba, as well as brief showers all day for Suva and the north Savu. Looking towards the north, Lambasa with cloudy skies in the morning and scattered showers toward the afternoon. Now with temperatures Suva, Nadi and Lambasa all were on 32. Lotoka and Ba hit 31 and Sabu Sabu, the highest, hit 34. Tuesday's forecast. Suva should expect cloudy skies with brief showers throughout the day. The rest of the centres might have cloudy skies with a chance of scattered showers. For mariners, northwest to southwest winds 15 to 20 knots and gusty at times and moderate to rough seas. This beautiful shot of Tico's restaurant one evening. If you have images that you would like to share with us, we'll send them in to citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj.
Thanks so much for that, Trish. Recapping our main stories tonight, newly appointed Agriculture Minister Inieseru Ratu lays down the challenge for staff, farmers in the West hit hardest by prolonged dry spell, and members of Parliament to be shown the ropes on how Parliament works. That's all for tonight. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's all for tonight. Good evening.
Hey, how's it going, Fiji? You're the afternoon step with Josie. And of course, I've got more good hits lined up for you, so stay tuned for that. But right now, check this song out, man. It's Golden City coming at you, 2 and Amity K, ready for your love, right here on Today FM.